Welcome to Stardust Stereo. I'm Parker McPhinney. I'm your host. Today's the 11th of November, year 2024. Today is Veterans Day in the USA. So we'd like to thank all our veterans for their service. We'd also like to send out the thought to the universe that these wars will end. And I'm going to talk about Venus and Capricorn today. This morning at 10:25 a.m., Venus, the planet of love, values, money, entered that zodiac placement of the goat. Capricorn is known for its practicality, its loyalty, trustworthiness, authenticity. And so Venus will be traveling through the zodiac placement until December 6th. It'll be the 7th on the East Coast. And while it is traveling through the earth sign of Capricorn, we can get real about what we value in life, how we exercise those values, what our love relationships are, how we can better understand our loved ones through exploring what their traditional needs are, because Capricorn deals with the basics. It's not a flowery, flamboyant placement at all. If you want to gain the heart of somebody who has Venus in Capricorn, help them in their career, because if they are born with Venus in Capricorn, or if they have a strong influence in Capricorn in their charts, they are very much about getting things done, climbing the mountain to the top slowly, step by step, just like the goat. No hurry, no worry. They know they will eventually get there because they never give up. They just keep on keeping on. And when Venus is placed in the sign of Capricorn, what you will also often find is that people with Venus in Capricorn are prone to really enjoy the company of older people because they tend to have a certain mature attitude about love. Often you will see big age differences between the partners or romantic liaisons that they pick. Sometimes when they are young with this placement, they will be attracted to older partners, and as they get older, they will be attracted to younger partners. Swami Vivekananda had Venus in Capricorn, as did Katharine Hepburn. And what you will see in both of these people, if you familiarize yourself with them, there was an attraction to the traditions. And there was also this attitude of perseverance. Katharine Hepburn had a long relationship with Spencer Tracy, and she endured so much and just never gave up on that steadfast love. It was almost like a sense of duty. So that is quite common. Of course, every other planet aspecting of Venus in Capricorn will condition it in another direction, add another flavor to it. Astrology is anything but black and white. It's a cornucopia of many different factors, the mathematical configurations of all the planets, the houses, etc. So as Venus is going through Capricorn, one way that we can utilize it is we can look to our own personal traditions. Now, my tradition of traditional attitude toward love or things that I value may be totally different from somebody in a different culture. We have to look within ourselves. What is it that I truly value, and how can I implement more of those values in my life? And regards to love, how can I condition myself to use love in everything that I do, no matter what zodiac sign it's in. But I use the word use because Venus in Capricorn sometimes gets thought of as using people. Also, that Venus in Capricorn, when it's in relationship with Saturn in the birth chart, especially a hard relationship, will often be, they're really working their way up that ladder, and that fine line between the authenticity of genuinely liking someone versus what they can do for you can sometimes come up. Maybe it's just that we're more attracted to people that can be helpful versus people that are not interested in anything that we have to do with our work. And Capricorn, and I say we because I happen to have the placement of Venus in Capricorn, so I'm very familiar with it. It is not so much, in my opinion, that this placement has secondary agendas going on. I believe that everybody has an unconscious tendency to be drawn to people that are helpful and hopefully stay clear of people that are hurtful. But of course, that's not always true, because some human beings on the planet love the excitement and drama of chaos. As we look at this placement of Venus in Capricorn, let's talk about some of the transits that it will make to the other planets in the sky as it travels in this next several weeks until, the 6th of December. Right now, Venus is marching to a quintile to Saturn. That is an extremely creative aspect. It also can manifest in the ways of unusual forms of creative commitment, unusual forms of like combining different mediums to make an art piece, creating different liaisons with somebody that you would not expect that person, knowing them, to end up with, but there's some component there that makes the magic work. Venus will quintile Saturn tomorrow, the 12th. This quintile will be happening, that's a 72-degree aspect, and it truly is a unique aspect that on the surface might seem quirky, but really when you examine it deeper, you kind of fall in love with the quirkiness. On the 14th, Venus will be in an inconjunct aspect with Mars, and that's working and adjusting, working the adjustment really is closer to it, really working to adjust to the differences between the sexes. I know because in America, in the United States, we just had this election and there's so much, brouhaha, and, it's really been quite interesting to watch humanity during this election cycle. A lot of people are voicing that they feel that there is an inability to elect a female to the highest office because men don't want her there. I find that just too simple. I don't believe that. I don't believe that that is true. I could be wrong. But what this does is it creates a tension between the sexes, if they happen to be giving a flip about the election, that is. A lot of people are just worn down. And so we're still just off the presses with it. So around the 14th, we might want to work a little bit harder to understand the other person's perspectives, specifically the opposite sex of you. And I'm talking the biological opposite sex. I won't even get into that other topic that I have very firm opinions about, which you may not want to hear. Now, Venus squaring the node on the 16th is the love bomb. The node is not a planet, it's a point, and it's pointing toward the future. And as Venus squares that point on the 16th, we need to discover how we can love bomb everybody, because that's what we need more of. On the 22nd and the 23rd, Venus will sextile Saturn. And Saturn rules Capricorn. Every zodiac sign has a ruling planet. Saturn is Capricorn's ruling planet. And Venus and Saturn will be in a lovely flowing sextile. Solder your compassion to your heart. There is no way we can ever be having too much love, in my opinion. Because love does manage to melt just about everything. If it is consistent, unwavering, dedicated, and the highest divine form, it can melt anything that needs to be melted. If it's, you know what I'm saying. During that 22nd, 23rd period, look to what ways you can increase your understanding and acceptance of yourself. Because the love that I speak of with Venus and Capricorn also pertains to how we love ourselves. Capricorn can be a hard taskmaster to others sometimes. It's not so much because of the perfectionist. It has to do with the controlling factor. It is a controlling sign because it has an agenda. That's not necessarily meaning a bad thing. When you're building a house, you have an agenda and you want to get that house finished before the winter comes. So you want things to stay on order and on track and be efficient. You want the job to get done, So as Venus makes these aspects, no matter what the nature of them, these various aspects, one thing to take into consideration is, in what way can I deviate off track if I need to, in order to manifest for myself the longevity that I wish for in regards to loving myself and loving others. So if you find yourself unable to achieve whatever goals that you have set for yourself, be flexible enough. Flexibility is not in Capricorn's toolkit, so I would advise you to add it to the toolkit. Be flexible in your pathways of how you get to where your goal is, be it a personal goal, a business goal, dealing with money or love or something you like or something you desire. There's another term often used, be gentle with yourself. On the 24th, Venus is making another quintile. There's 3 quintiles happening, and that's the magic making aspect, that 72 degrees super creative aspect, and 1 biquintile happening during the period of Venus in Capricorn. So the Venus quintile to Neptune on the 24th is love your imaginations, love your fantasy life, use it constructively. If you're in the creative arts, allow that imagination to soar. If you're in the healing arts, imagine that miracles can take place with an extra dose of love. You know, I know this to be true because I've seen it in action. I've actually utilized this technique. If I come across somebody really difficult in the business world, or, you know, in any situation, if you're dealing with government, you will always find difficult people. I'll tell you that right there. You got to take this little tip to the DMV with you. So if they're being difficult, no, we can't click that box because that box doesn't exist in our system. You know, whatever the box is, it's just, if it's out of the system, they don't have a solution, and it's just nerve-wracking. You have to take that extra dose of love, and you have to literally send it psychically to them and not react how every human being in the universe would normally react, which is with frustration and sometimes anger and utter contempt for, you know, these outdated systems that, and outdated computers that aren't working in the world. Yet we can send, you know, people to the moon, but we can't create a category and a system for, anyway, I'm not going to get into it. I am kind of getting into it, but I'm not. The thing to do, and I have seen it work, is you just don't let your uneasiness come through, and you remind yourself that they are a human being, you're a human being, you really just want to get along, and you let the prevailing energy be one of love. Now, love is such a strange word because when we think of love, we usually have some sort of definition in our head of what love is. And I think love is actually a word that really can't even be defined because it's a verb, and it can mean different things to different people. And what I love and what you love can be two totally different things if we're talking about taste. But when we're talking about getting along with our fellow human beings, if we are steadfast and steady with our compassion and love, we will get greater results than any other thing. Unless, of course, you're dating somebody who has Venus in Leo, and then you have to give them a lot of praise because they need that. Because they need that extra punch of showmanship. So like every sign is different, but you're not going to see Venus in Capricorn needing to be praised per se. Venus in Capricorn doesn't need praise. They want security. They want steadfast. They want to know that the house is going to be there when they come home, and that there's food in the refrigerator, and that everything works well, and it will work well for a long time. That's the key to the heart of somebody who has Venus in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn is the tree that grows tall and the roots are deep. While Venus is in Capricorn, you need to love your bones, your teeth, your knees. Take extra care of them. Saturn ruling Capricorn will go direct on the 15th. That will help in establishing and planting great longevity with any goals that you have in your life that are close to your heart. Sometimes Venus in Capricorn is married to its job, its work, its mission in life, and so it doesn't dedicate as much time to personal affairs or to the family. So you can also learn to balance that a little bit while Venus is traveling through Capricorn. If you're spending too much time working, not enough time playing, learn to play as hard as you do at working. On the 30th, we have creating a new love standard because Venus will be quintile of the north to the north node. On the 1st of December, it will be biquintile to Jupiter. That's beliefs that are double-laced with love and money. So it's hard to separate those two during that period of the 1st of December. It's like, what are my beliefs about love and what are my beliefs about money? Often you will find that they reflect each other. If you have a sense of poverty consciousness in your subconscious, you often will have a sense that you are not loved in your subconscious as well. On the 2nd of December, there's a fantastic trine between Venus and Uranus in the sky. That is love that has a basis of friendship in it. That can be sudden jackpot, my forever wish. That can be, exceptional love friendship. On the 4th of December, Venus will sextile Neptune. That deals with idealism in love, glamour, and charity work. Often, people that have Venus in Capricorn actually love to work because it gives them a sense of purpose. And I know that's personally true for me. I am a worker. So while Venus is in Capricorn, we can all learn to love our work. And if we don't, seek the work that we do love. And speaking of love, as I have been doing for the last 23 minutes, I love astrology, and I hope that you love it as well. It's my mission in life to bring exceptional, thought-out astrology podcasts to the world. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider becoming a patron. You can do so at patreon.com/ParkerMcP. I would like to thank my patrons that have been steadfast for the last 4.5 years, helping me send astrology and the love that I have for it out into the universe. And I want to leave you with this thought that wealth comes from your spiritual discipline. Ponder that. I'm Parker McPhinney. This is Stardust Stereo. I want to thank you for listening, and I'd like to remind you, you are made of stardust, so go shine.